Bro, I am so giddy right now. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to be reasonable. I'm here in the studio filming some videos and stuff. And then this news just broke. And I was like, I gotta talk about this. I don't know if I can go live right now, but I gotta talk about it. Warhorse has confirmed that they are working on 2 different games at the moment. They are working on an open world Middle Earth RPG. Hard. That's all I have to say. And a new Kingdom Come adventure as well. As you can see, the internet's exploding. It's going viral. Like, this is exactly the game people were dreaming of them doing. This is a team that knows how to make narrative RPGs that are gritty, are well executed, and are immersive. And it's been a dream that they would get the chance to do something with Middle Earth, because Middle Earth has been so neglected in the games industry for so long. I mean, I know there's probably like 7 people that love Rings of Power as well, so maybe some people are eating well, but I mean, seriously, man, Middle Earth has just been, it's been neglected. It's such an amazing property, and they have the rights in the video game space to use it, and they just haven't, you know. Even in like other media like TV, it still hasn't been treated that well and not been utilized, but now it looks like we're actually going to get it. And this comes on the back of some other news, of course, which was that the United Arab Emirates, I believe is who it was. They have a private investment fund, and they put up 100 million euros, I believe it was, to invest in another Lord of the Rings game of some sort. And that was confirmed to not be Warhorse's project. So there might be some wires getting crossed where people think that that's the specific game that we're talking about here. It is not. This is a separate game. Apparently they were working on 2 separate ones at different studios, but this is in production. But what's also really interesting is that, again, they say a new Kingdom Come adventure. Now, I want to rewind the clocks a little bit about this, because some people are a little confused as to what this means. All of this was revealed as a result of the Embracer Group financial presentation that happened today, early this morning. When they did this, KCD modding community did a good job clipping this and explaining it. But basically, they've described it as a new Kingdom Come adventure, which could mean a lot of things. Does that mean spin-off? Does that mean a full standalone sequel? It's not super clear. But when they were talking about their different studio pipelines and everything that they have going on, you can see that they outlined this. They outlined that they've got 250 people working on these projects and everything that they're doing. But it seems like what this actually means is that the KCD game is in full production. The full team is working on it. The Lord of the Rings game is in early pre-production and is expected to use Unreal Engine 5, at least in some capacity. It's not clear if that's being used because there's some technology that they want to be able to use in Unreal that they don't have with their proprietary toolkit in their engine that they used for KCD. It's not clear if they need to do that for licensing deals, or my sneaking suspicion is that Epic, they're developing a lot of tools for like fantasy open world RPGs, specifically in collaboration with CDPR for The Witcher 4. And it's possible a lot of those features and things they have for that game that are not available to the public are probably being shared with some other big studios like Warhorse. And that might be become a compelling thing, because I'll tell you what, I don't think Embracer would want to use Unreal Engine paying fees to Epic unless there was a reason for them to do it, because they have their own proprietary engine within Warhorse. There's probably a reason they wanted to move over there and use that tool set for the Lord of the Rings game. I know people immediately like cringe when they hear Unreal Engine open world game. I also have that tendency, especially considering how good, beautiful, and polished KCD 2 was with their proprietary tool set, but time will tell. Don't judge it until we see it. That's my opinion right now. If we see it and it looks rough or it's stuttery and stuff, we can talk about it then, but it's literally in pre-production. Like, it's very, very early. But what I wanted to bring up with this is just interesting, because some of you guys may remember a discussion we had. Last year, I went to KCD Fan Fest, and it was awesome. If you don't know what KCD Fan Fest is, it was basically a big celebration where they hosted a bunch of fans in Prague at the actual like Fort Malashov castle, and they actually did stuff. It was genuinely like amazing and super, super cool. They had cosplayers, they had all sorts of stuff. I'll have Jacob put up some videos because I just searched it and I can't find it. Oh, here's a video. I'm on stage here. That's me next to Lua. and Satovi. It was genuinely awesome. It was very, very cool. And I actually have that sword. They shipped it across the ocean, and it's the one right there that's hanging right there, stabbing Titus right there. That's that sword. I freaking love KCD. I love FanFest. I love everything about Warhorse. And when I was there, I told you guys this story already. Some of you guys may remember the story because I've talked about it on stream. But I was talking with somebody who would know what Warhorse's projects are. I'll just keep it like that. He would know. He's in a pretty high up position. I won't say who, but he would know. And I was talking with some other people, but I was speaking specifically with Neon Knight. And we were talking about what could be next. We were like, what could be the sequel to KCD? Because we didn't know what their next game would be. We knew they were starting to work on it, but what would it be? And we were like, they could do a sequel. They could do like the Hussite Wars. They could do this or that. But I was like, I feel like Henry's story is kind of tied up in a nice little bow. I don't know if you need another game. You could do a sequel or like a spin-off where it's maybe his child 20 years in the future for the Hussite Wars or whatever. You could do something like that. That could be cool and explore that. That could be awesome. But we were going back and forth on all this, and we both were like, yeah, but it's probably still 4 years away, 5 years away, because it takes a long time to make these games. And this guy who would know what they're working on, who knows the timelines and everything, he's in the front seat of the car, and he's just kind of chuckling to himself. Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. I'm sure he's like, what idiots, what morons. But then we were like, I know you don't have to say anything, man. I'm sure you're just laughing your ass off at how wrong we are. And he just said, all I will say is that 4 to 5 years is an awful long time to wait. And I told this story when I got back from FanFest, because I was like, that was an interesting way of putting that. Because that implies to me that something is coming much sooner, that 4 to 5 years is an awful long time to wait. And now it's expected that this next thing from Warhorse is actually expected to come next fiscal year. So like next year is when it's expected to come, potentially next fall, which is crazy. That would, in fact, put it within just a couple of years of when he was saying 4 to 5 is an awful long time to wait. So I think this has been the plan for a while, that they wanted to do something a little bit tighter. I don't know exactly what it'll look like. I don't know what they're thinking in terms of scope, scale. They could just take the map of KCD2 and then add Prague on, just casually add Prague. Or the entire game is set within Prague and it's an exploration of the Hussite Wars. If you don't know kind of all of the I guess it's Hussite Wars, but if you don't know kind of the broader story and stuff that's going on in the realm of KCD, everything kind of centers around the Hussite Wars or the Bohemian Wars or the Hussite Revolution, series of civil wars fought between the Hussites, combined Catholic forces of the Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund, the papacy, and European monarchs loyal to the Catholic Church, as well as various Hussite factions. At a late stage of the conflict, Ultraquists changed sides in 1432 to fight alongside Roman Catholics and oppose the Toberites and other Hussite factions. These wars lasted from 1419 to approximately 1434. They could do basically like an exploration of the war, I guess, and it would maybe be less of an open world adventure game and maybe more of like a tighter narrative experience that's just maybe a little bit more linear and is more cinematic than anything else. That's possible. I don't know what their plan is, but I think this is like the most obvious thing, because this is sort of like the big thing that's revving up and that KCD like is living in the shadow of, like, that this is coming, and they never quite get there. But this would be so fascinating to see if that's what they do. But it could also just legitimately be a spin-off, or it could be an exploration of another character that we maybe met tangentially or briefly, that they then get their own deep dive and own dedicated game for. Time will tell. But I think that, for one, a smaller bite-sized project, I mean, bite-size is easy to say. I also want to just be clear, it may not be bite-sized. I mean, the whole point of the work they did from KCD 1 in, what was that, 2017? No, 2018. So from 2018 to 2025 with KCD2, and by most accounts, they were basically done with KCD2 in late 2024. They just like pushed it to really, really polish extra. So they spent, 7 years, 6 to 7, years working on it, and a lot of that was engine overhauls for performance. A lot of it was retooling stuff, optimization. A lot of it was like broader concepts and then iteration and refinement. If they want to just take KCD 2 and those systems and then just, like I said, expand it to Prague, I think they could do that, and it might not take as long as people would expect, because one of the big pushes in recent memory has been to work more efficiently and then try to iterate rather than reinvent. And it may just be the case that KCD, whatever the next one is going to be more of an iteration, a polishing of the gem that they already have, as opposed to trying to create something entirely new. Kind of like a Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild, as opposed to just doing something totally wacky and different. So I think we get that much sooner than we're expecting. And then shortly after, maybe not shortly, but maybe early next generation, we will see whatever this Middle Earth RPG is. I can't think of another team. Maybe CDPR would be another one that would be a worthy team to take on a Middle Earth IP and to do something like this. But there's so many question marks with like, where do you go with this? Where do you go with like are you exploring in parallel some of the stories from the books? Are you going to go do something separate and off on the side, kind of like a Shadow of Mordor thing? What are you going to do in terms of the story? Of course, with an RPG, you would expect that you're able to choose your role and that you're going to play the role that you choose. And so you can't have it too strictly adherent to the books, because of course you've got to have certain story beats happen. It's not like, I'm not sure if they would want the player to be able to like go find Gollum and take the ring for yourself. Or maybe they do that. Maybe you're the one that gives Gollum the ring. I don't know. They could do any number of things, but it could be really fascinating. Yeah, I'm so giddy and happy right now. It is a dream come true, I'm sure, for the team as well, because you got to remember, the people that are making these games are gamers themselves, and they are fans themselves. Like this, I'm sure for them is a dream come true. I can only imagine, if I worked in games, how giddy I would be at the opportunity to make this. And I'm sure they've been making medieval fantasy RPGs for, at this point, a decade, or more than a decade, because I guess they started on KCD 1, 2014. So this, I'm sure, is just a dream come true. And I'd be giddy about it. It's such a match made in heaven. I'm so here for it. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about it, share it, because this is amazing news to wake up to. And it's just jumped to the front runner of like one of my most anticipated games, period, full stop, for the next 5 years. Like I am so, maybe 6 or 8 years, however long it takes to make it. Take your time, do it right. But this has jumped straight to the front of the line in terms of hotly anticipated games for me. So I'm here for it, and I'm so excited. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Let me know what you would like them to do also. If you have an idea for what they could do narratively, I'm so interested. Both with the KCD game, what they could do there, and what they would do with Middle Earth. I'm very interested. It'll be really fascinating. As for other things, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to go and subscribe also to the main channel, Luke Stevens, because I have my Black Flag Resynced preview going up tomorrow, and I'll be able to talk about that at length in that video. So buckle up, buckaroo. There's going to be a lot to talk about. With that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye. He took my thing.